In this week's Parshat Vayishlach, Yaakov is going to return home after having spent 20 years in the house of Lavan, which he originally went to escape Esav, who wanted to kill him because he took the blessing intended for Esav. Yaakov's 20 years with Lavan was extremely difficult, where Lavan tried to trick him in many different ways, but yet he emerged successful with a large family and many possessions. And he's going to return home. He knows he's going to have to deal with Esav, and he doesn't know if Esav still wants to kill him or not. And so he sends messengers ahead, and the messengers come back and say he's already on the way with 400 men. And Yaakov is really afraid, and he makes a three-pronged strategy of prayer and a military plan and a tribute to give to Esav in hopes to appease him and that he can, go on his way in peace with his family. And he crosses over his family over the stream of Yabok, and he has an encounter with, which many people say is an angel, but the words used in the pasuk is Vayivater Yaakov levado. Yaakov was left by himself. V'ye'avek ish imo ad alot hashachar. V'ye'avek, he battled ish imo, a man with him. So this man with him, the interpretation that I like is that he fought with himself. Ish imo, the man with himself, and meaning that he had this internal struggle. He had to figure out who he was before he can go and deal with Esav. And he wasn't sure who he was anymore. When he left the house, he was Yaakov, an Ish Tam Yoshev Ba'olim. Then he went through so much in this house of Lavan, and he developed his character. He learned how to deal with people who don't want what's best for him, and how to be a successful husband and father, and how to stand on his own 2 feet and deal with all sorts of situations. And he's returning to Esav as a totally different person. And that's why he needed to recognize that. He needed to permit himself to bless himself in that growth and to embrace the new person that he was. And that's why he emerges this with a new name, with the name Yisrael, because he's not Yaakov anymore, not the Yaakov that Esav wanted to kill. He is now somebody totally different. And if he was going to go meet Esav and know this and know who he was, he can be successful and explain that to Esav and come to the table as a totally different person. Just like I feel like in times in our lives as fully grown adults with a life that we've made for ourselves long after we've left home, we're different people. And many times we're forced to go home and deal with family members, and we'll revert back into who we were back then, instead of realizing that we're not the same persona as who we were in our childhood. We're a developed character. We're different with different tools and different ways of dealing with things and different ways of interacting with people. And when you have to go back to your home now as a fully grown adult, if you don't want to revert into these cycles of behavior and into unhealthy relationships that you had as a child, you have to go acknowledging that you're a different person with different capabilities. And when you go back there, if you face things with who you are today, instead of reverting back to the old you can proceed and have a healthy, mature relationship. And this is what Yaakov had to do. He had to realize that he's not the Yaakov from his past, but he is now Yisrael, who contended with many things and came out victorious. And only he as Yisrael can meet up with Esav and be victorious and have a healthy, safe, good future with many blessings. So here's to more growth and always proceeding as the hopefully more developed person we are today, and not falling into bad patterns of the past. Much blessings. Shabbat Shalom.